All right, welcome back. You're watching Daybreak. And Dr. Chris Omala, you raised a few issues, especially for the Western Kenya. I just went up to the archives, and on the 1st of July 2020, the leadership of your region actually met the president, and they talked about their issues. They were governors Wycliffe Oparanya, Hospital Jamong, Wycliffe Wangamati, Wilbur Tichilo, and Patrick Haemba, all the five counties, and they explained what their issues were, including what they spoke of sugar issues. I don't know what other meeting you would want, but as you reflect on that, Dr. James Nyikal, so here we are, no clarity on agenda, no clarity on how to get more votes, because you are able to get to a certain extent in 2013, in 2017 as well. But how do you get the extra votes to win you the presidency?
Actually, what you really need to look at is, as you have said, and I like this conversation, particularly from the senator, that we must look at what Kenya needs, agree on those. And as he said, these are the issues that have been in the BBI. The next stage is then, how do we get the leadership that will deliver the things we need? And so when we also agree on that we need unity, and these unities are coming through coalitions. That is why I said, at this point, let's not be very hard on the coalitions that we have or are beginning to form. We have NASA, we are saying it is dead or not dead. We have Jubilee, it has its issues. Now there is One Kenya Alliance coming in. Now, let's look at what is needed, and you may find that you will actually need a bigger coalition that brings everybody in and may even have a different name. And at that point, then people will sit and say, how do we get the leadership into this? Obviously, we will come at regions. That is why, for me, when Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka said it is possible they can work together, and Governor Ngilu supported them. A very strong politician also supported them. And I said, we must do that across the board. Even the one-party alliance group should also start saying, okay, if people are ready to talk together, we should also be ready to accommodate them. Okay. So that if you keep insisting that you must have it, when you come here, we are going to have it, then nothing will happen. People will not even discuss. What is needed in the country is the flexibility that everybody feels I can walk in there, and when we discuss, we will get things to serve the country.
All right, Dr. James Nyikal, allow me to cut it short. Allow me to cut it short because we have practically run out of time. I just want to take a look at some feedback that has been shared by viewers via Twitter at Citizen TV Kenya at Sam Gituku. The hashtag to use is Daybreak, and the first one here comes. It takes a bit of time to load, but eventually it gets here. This is Alcatraz KE. Each regional front must pull together and decide on their main aspirant for the 2022 elections. Engineer Lazaro, building of coalitions and strange political alliances towards elections isn't new in this nation. Let's concentrate with the serious burning issues like COVID-19 and the rocketing price of basic necessities. Mbaya Lavuna, yes, NASA parties can still reunite, but only if the agreement they deposited at the Register of Political Parties will be honored. Well, Dr. Nyikal says that nobody became president. Jenga Wakungu, the problem with our political coalitions and formations is that they're not meant for the benefit of our common monarchy and positive blueprint of development. Instead, it's all about selfish political achievements, sometimes even corruption by tenderpreneurs. While capturing some of the challenges in one tweet, then Haza, you say, or is it Huza, HSC, we don't understand if the bridges are crossed by certain people to reach a certain destination. People live in different directions. Well, that's your take there on this. And this conversation continues. I know Dr. Chris Omala would have wanted to give a response about what I just raised a few minutes ago, but the conversation continues as the principals under NASA consider a reunion. You, the citizen, stay active, listen to the voices of the leaders and see whether they achieve what you are aspiring for. You'll make your decision when the time comes. My name is Sam Gituku. Asante sana, Dr. Chris Omala and Dr. James Nyikal and Senator Sylvia Kasanga. Up next, we have Isaac Mora, who has been out of circulation for quite a bit of time. He has been going through some motions. He's here to tell us all about that and what his prospects, future prospects are after the break. Stay tuned.
One, two, three, 1, 2, 3. Death of a business mogul.
Familia ya Kenyatta walitawala miaka 15 na ingine inaenda kuisha 10. Hiyo ni miaka 50. Tunasema imetosheka hiyo, tusonge tujipange kama vijana. Kama namna gani? Hata sisi kwa watu wamezaliwa, hakuna mtu ambaye hajazaliwa hapa na baba yake. Kweli ama uongo? Tangu sasa kusonga mbele, mimi nimeingia Hustler Nation.
Wanaongea wanasema watu wamechoka na uongozi wa familia hii, nini sijui nini. Sawa, choka, lakini kumbuka kura sio kwa ile tumbo ambaye imekuzaa. Kura inatokana na mwananchi. Mwananchi ndio mwenye kura. Hakuna kiti ya kupatianwa. Kwa hivyo mtu kusema ya kwamba ati mtu anachoka na ukichoka kwenda kwa debe upige kura. Na wengine ambao wanaongea hata kura yao na viti ambavyo wako navyo ni kwa sababu ya kura yangu. Wenyewe hawakupata hata kura moja. Ni kura yangu.
Well, good morning. Senator Isaac Mwaura, when you posted that you're coming, somebody said that we should say former senator. But I think once a senator is still a senator, you'll be telling us about the status of that. But when you reflect on that, because you've been missing for quite a bit of time, we've not heard you, why are you speaking to us now?
Well, I mean, you cannot keep quiet forever, can you? And I've been talking, actually. I thought we had a very good, Albinism Awareness Day on Sunday, which was broadcast everywhere. And we have also been engaging Kenyans on the ground in many other forums, actually. But I'm very happy to be here. It's long since you hosted me, Sam. Mm-hmm. So this is a good morning, this beautiful Tuesday.
Right, and when you reflect on those sentiments on the 31st of December 2020, when you spoke against the president's family and he responded on the 9th of January and you had him there, do you have any regrets when you look back on what happened and what has happened over the past few months?
Are you sure what you're saying is true? That I spoke against any family? I didn't speak.
No, I just played the clip. You're saying that familia Kenyatta imekuwa kuongozi 10 plus 15 becoming 50, and then the president responded he wasn't very pleased with that. Do you have any regrets?
I think you're asking me to tell you that is actually, when you state historical facts about who has been in leadership before, I don't think that is something that really is something anybody would dispute. It's just that it was blown out of proportion. and deliberately so. You know, there's the spin of a story, and there's what you say, and how it is taken by people who want to take it for milking political capital out of it. And personally, I feel very strongly that is actually what happened, beyond any reasonable doubt. I don't think, by any chance, whatever I said should have been construed the way it did, but it has been done so because it suited people's political posturing, and that's what, for me, I think exactly happened. Yeah.
And so, what is the correct position? Because I think it was on the 11th of May that the Speaker of the Senate gave that announcement on the floor of the House and said that you've been removed from being a senator. What is the position now?
No, we are still in court. We are still in court because the other gentleman, has not been sworn in. So yes, we had a hearing. We had a ruling on Friday. There was a preliminary objection to the continuation of the case, and let us wait for the courts to make a determination. I don't think it would be good to comment on that. Let the independence of the judiciary be respected with regards to how they are going to make that determination, because Article 99 of the Constitution says that you cannot lose your seat until you have exhausted all appeal mechanisms.
Right.
And that should be the position. Yes.
And have you been able to attend any sittings since that day?
These are matters are before the court. Some let us wait for them to be properly canvassed before the court.
No, I mean, your attendance of Senate is not in court, is it?
No. That's exactly the point. It's about the membership of the Senate. It's about me being a senator and the purported replacement.
And
so
bearing in mind that
it can only be resolved in court.
I think there's a stay on execution of the decision of the Speaker or the announcement by the Speaker. So with that stay, one would have assumed that you're able to attend Senate sittings.
The stay is a matter of the court. Those issues have been canvassed in court. They continue to be canvassed in court. Some. It would not be fair to comment about them at this point in time, because the court has to pronounce itself on each and every issue that has been raised before it. Yes, please.
And Senator, this is not the first time that a political party that nominated you to Parliament is expelling you. The first time was in 2016, and I remember that in August you had actually posted images of yourself and the party leader of your party then, that is Raila Odinga, and said that you had communicated to him that the ground is shifting and to allow you, or informing him that you're going to shift allegiance to a different political party. Then in November you were expelled. What has this been for you? Because being in a party, supporting its agenda in Parliament, then things get where they are. What does this mean for you as a person? And secondly, in the positions of being a nominated representative?
I think that's exactly the nature of our Kenyan politics. I wish we would have strong political parties that would withstand the test of time. But my own assessment, since 1992, we've had political parties that do not see the light of day in the next general election. And even if they do, they are very, there's a pale shadow of their former self. Look at even KANU today. KANU is not the independence party. It's not the juggernaut that came to power in the name of NARC. So is the PNU and all of the other political parties that have been there, even including ODM actually. ODM of 2007 was not in the same stature. It had really diminished by the time it was 2013. But there is a good thing that came out of that whole situation, Sam, because I was able to, together with the then Registrar of Political Parties, Lucy Ndongo, draft the party primaries bill, which really is a game changer if it was to be passed into law, so that then we govern the nomination processes of various political parties, because I believe that is actually the graveyard of many great leaders who do not get to see light of day as a result of the kind of shambolic exercises that end up producing tricksters, fraudsters, and conmen, who become really a gang of robbers, and therefore actually affecting the Kenyan economy and the welfare of Wanjiku.
So you appear to be very dissatisfied with the party primaries, and I've spoken to you previously extensively on this, and it will appear that you're very convinced of even what happened to your candidature in Ruiru in the last election. But then again, what should a nominated representative, knowing the political reality in Kenya, what should they do that you will tell them that, because they will always be there, as long as the constitutional and legal provision remains, what would you tell them that's, from my lessons, this is what you need to do?
No, not really. I think this is a question of nominated members having to represent groups that are already marginalized themselves. And therefore, the challenge of representing marginalized groups of people is that people do not really see you on an equal basis with others. You are actually, that representation suffers from what I call institutionalized marginalization. Because the challenge of this representation is that you have to claim marginalization for you to get a seat at the table, while at the same time working very hard to overcome the very barriers that hinder you from starting on an equal basis with others. Yet the very marginalization, my brother, is affirmed by being thrown at you when competition sets in. So on one hand, you're supposed to be representing a group of people. So you're supposed to be quiet, meek, very grateful and apologetic, and you should not have your voice. And most of the time, people think that when you get nominated, your mind also gets nominated so that you do not reason. That is a problem. That's a problem because it is tokenism, at its best. I mean, people who get nominated are persons with disabilities, for example, and I'm very proud that even under BBI I was able to push for 4 slots in the National Assembly, women, the youth, and all of that. And they also need to be seen on an equal basis with others. And that is something that we must keep on pushing. I mean, I am a trailblazer, and I'm extremely proud of that fact as the first person with albinism to be in Parliament, the first to represent disabled people in both the National Assembly and the Senate.
Right.
It has not happened before. And I believe in equality. And if you look at even Parliament, the way it is constituted, Sam, a nominated member is never given equal opportunity in terms of, for example, the number of staff, the salaries of your staff, the operational costs. You're supposed to cover the whole country, but you're treated as if you are half a constituency, actually, not even the whole constituency. So some of these issues, for example, I was leading the other 32 in having their terms better. And Isaac Mwaura is known for fighting for social justice. So really, I mean, I would want to say that keep on fighting, stand up. I mean, be confident.
I'm looking at something that you posted on the 25th of August 2016. Of course, in the tweet that you are communicating to the party leader of ODM of your departure from the party. As I set my eyes on Ruiru parliamentary seat, I will carry diversity and inclusion in my broad agenda of serving the people faithfully, fearlessly, and without favor. Asante Rais Kenyatta for accepting and cancelling me. Kenya belongs to us all. Time to unite voices. Time to raise nationalistic ideals even higher. This is the life I desire. Thanks be to God. Cheers. Of course, quite a bit of hashtags, including Muthungu Ruiru 2017. But so when you reflect back on that, because you appear to be very confident of the leadership of President Kenyatta, that he was mentoring you, he was counseling you, how much have you gained since that relationship started?
I think it's good also to say that political parties poach other people. So they poached me from ODM, and that's the truth. And they did it.
You didn't live on your own volition?
No, they did it on their own account, and they know that very well and how they strategized whatever they did, and they told me as much. Because, of course, they saw talent. By the way, let me tell you, Sam, don't be lied to by anybody here that people just are found in the streets waiting to be nominated. Political parties nominate individuals based on what that person serves their interest in. You must bring value to the table. People will say, are you the only one? At that point in time, yes. You are the one, because that's who they settle on. It's a meeting of interest, your interests and their interests. So this kind of politics of patronage where people think like, it's a question of tokens. Well, that is what then creates the imbalance. That is what creates the discrimination. That is why we have uneven application of the law. And that needs to be challenged.
But Senator, when you say that they poached you from ODM for their own interests, then how can you be trusted? What are your principles, and has UDA poached you?
Let me tell you, I can be trusted because I can deliver, and I've delivered. Right now, I'm the person with the highest number of votes in the Senate. If I tell you the kind of work that I've been able to do, if that is what is trust, I'll tell you, for example, all the young people in this country now, I'm not paying money for them to apply for jobs because I presented a petition on their behalf and help, CRB, all of those were removed. I can tell you for sure the currency that you have in your pocket is friendly to those who are visually impaired because of my work. I can tell you people with disabilities who are not admitted in paramilitary training, today they are even, being taken as prison wardens. I can tell you, for example, how I have been able to bring about into limelight issues of intersex persons. The issue is about competence. And when it comes to political competition, people look for foot soldiers, people who are articulate, people who also represent certain groups of people. The challenge is that those special groups are seen as an icing in the cake. They are not seen as fundamental. And our role like my role as Isaac Mwaura, is to continuously push for social justice so that such individuals are seen to be part and parcel of society. Certainly, it becomes extremely difficult, my brother, because people expect you, and allow me to say this.
Right.
There's a general wide view that persons with albinism or disability should have been loud and opinionated. Yeah? They should be humble for them to be likable. They should be quiet, good and apologetic. They should be too strong to be disabled. Yeah? And this view is actually anchored upon subconscious belief that disability is inability. So don't look at it from that point of view, because it's a give and take situation. And that, for me, that's what I strongly believe.
And Senator
the
Mwaura,
only challenge is that now...
I think your vibrancy and effort is visible to anybody who has been observing politics of the country, whether it's in the last parliament or
exactly. And is that not value?
So that is not in doubt. What I'm asking is, because when Kenyans look at their politicians, and until that changed, they look at them with the belief that he actually stands for our interests. He actually represents what we want to see in leadership. So the question I'm asking you, if the Jubilee Party poached you from ODM and you left, you went and ran for a parliamentary seat in Ruiru, you are not lucky to win the nomination officially, then now here you are singing the song of the Hustlers Nation and aligning yourself to the Deputy President and probably UDA. What are your political principles?
Can I ask you something? Is the Deputy President the Deputy Party Leader of Jubilee?
This is not what I'm asking.
No. I'm asking you also because...
that was conversed at the hearings, disciplinary
no,
hearings.
Sam, you are not a representative of the disciplinary committee. We are having a conversation here, and if you want us to have a conversation, allow me also to interrogate your thoughts just like you're doing. The point here is, the people had a Jubilee agenda, that after the President is the Deputy President, who happens to be the Deputy Party Leader. What shifted is actually the leadership in certain quarters in that regard. It's not the people. The people are still there. And those are the people that I have listened to. And they continue to be consistently there, Sam. So let us not try to spin to suit a certain narrative that has been advanced so much to the point that it has almost become ad hominem and therefore even somehow true to the minds of those who imagine that way. I have been a very consistent defender of social justice. For people to have equal opportunities, because I believe inequality somewhere is inequality everywhere. The reason why I have found myself in these tribulations, number one, I question the modus operandi of the party in terms of not having regular meetings, in terms of decisions not being made in a democratic manner. And I was even calling for a truce between Tangatanga and Kieleweke. It is on record, even on your show here. Number two is the issue of public debt and the economy. And right now, I started raising these issues way back in 2014, my brother. They are coming to bear. We have a budget of 3.6 trillion. Number three is the question of equality of opportunity of the presidency, that we have a 10-year term limit. So Sam becomes president, he finishes, Kenyans elect Mwaura, he finishes, and it goes like that. Those are the three issues that have brought trouble to me. Because of being articulate about what would be best for Wanjiku. Public debt, is it about Wanjiku? About running of political parties, is it about Wanjiku? Is it about also equality of opportunity to be whatever that anybody is gifted to be? And let me tell you, that is actually the challenge of our generation. Because what I see is economic slavery of sorts. As long as we continue to have a situation where people go into government, they get into huge infrastructural projects, they get a lot of money out of it, they invest in the productive sectors of the economy, they capture the state and political power. It doesn't matter who does it. Eventually, it actually produces a very small, rich elite at the top and millions of poor people. My desire when I got into politics is to see to it that Kenya can become a first world country. And I believe so because I've gone to school in England, I have traveled to over 45 countries of the world, I have gone to school in South Africa and many other places, and I believe that we can do so. Kenya is the third economy in sub-Saharan Africa after Nigeria and South Africa. It is projected it can be the first economy in 20 years' time. But as long as we get the economy right, and as Bill Clinton said, is the economy stupid? So that is, if you look at why nations fail, it's because they have not gotten equal opportunity where you create new men and women.
Senator Mwaura, you appear not to like my question much, but the reason I'm asking it is because the young people they are speaking about, a few years back, it was very possible to distinguish between the agenda of President Moi and the agenda of Mwai Kibaki, who is running for office. Today, that appears to be a very thin line, because someone can move from this party to the other. So are these the challenges of the young people per se, or the challenges of our political framework, and how do we get out of this?
No, I think it's because of poor political party management. And I told you I already have a political parties primaries bill, which I think for me would govern nominations, because people get disgruntled during nominations. And if you look at, for example, many political parties, they are replete with very good legal documents that would govern. But those organs of the party are never effected. So if you have a good political party culture, my brother, it would also, it makes leadership collegiate, so that then you have people of a certain political ideology who are then deployed into government to implement the party's manifesto. But unfortunately, we have political parties which are created as special purpose vehicles for winning elections from one election to another. That is not a creature of Isaac Mwaura. I have already told you, in 1992, we had KANU and Fordasili. By 1987, Fordasili was dead. We had KANU and DP as the main parties. In 2002, we had KANU and NAC. In 2007, we had ODM and PNU. Both of those had disappeared into the sublimes. In 2013, we had CORD and Jubilee Coalition. By 2017, there was no CORD, there was NASA and Jubilee Party. In 2022, your guess is as good as mine. That's not a creature of Isaac Mwaura. I wish, and that is what I champion, if, for example, parties like Jubilee, like ODM, were able to have fortitude and strength so that they survive many elections, they'll be like the CPC party of China, that has really transformed, the country from Mao Zedong to Deng Xiaoping to Xi Jinping right now. If you look at the two-party system in America, the Democrats and the Republicans, and yet actually, Professor Amuko Anangwa, former finance minister, clearly has done a very good research about this, and we have a two-party de facto state in this country. There are always two opposing sides, but then they keep on changing their character, because most of the time people want to shed off, their political allies at that point, because maybe because of lack of political accountability, my brother. So that inconsistency cannot be overplayed by the megaphone, which is controlled by other people, to the chagrin of those of us who could be speaking the truth, and therefore who are seen, like we are not supposed to be talking. Because also you must always remember that there are people who control the narrative.
Right.
And for me that is extremely important. That we must always speak, our mind. And allow me to say this: that be yourself and never allow others to define you. Do not allow people to use their lenses to tell you who you are or to see yourself through their eyes. For they will always have low opinion of you, trying to tame the giant and greatness in you. That is the politics that we experience of reputation assassination. Because when you now know somebody has a contrary opinion, then you want to paint them bad. If you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name, isn't it?
So Senator Mwaura, as you end up on this, of course, you've eloquently put that across. As you end up on this, so there will be an election on 9th of August 2022, that is next year. Where will you be, and what are you going for, and what is different this time, so that the games that you told me several months ago that happened in Ruiru in 2017 do not happen again, if that's the seat you're going for?
Sam, politics is the informal that constitutes the formal. Yeah. It is the art of the possible, and Isaac Mwaura is still young, is still ebullient and ready to go. I am only 39 years of age, just turned 39 2 weeks ago.
Birthday.
Thank you. And so therefore, there is a lot that still remains to be out there. Let's wait for what the court decides, but for now, I continue to serve Kenyans. There are so many other capacities that you can serve. And I want to tell Kenyans that actually you may have to pay a price and make sacrifices, but that's your journey. For me, this is my journey. And you must move forward to fulfill your life's purpose towards your destiny. Always stand up, get up, and make yourself count. The future belongs to the bold and courageous. Fan your flame, keep burning, keep shining.
Senator, will you go for an elective seat?
Of course, yes. I mean, that is not in doubt. I have run for Ruiru parliamentary seat. I am very active on the ground, and you can bet for sure I will be in the next ballot.
Ruiru?
Yes. I will be in the next ballot.
On which party, or you don't know that now?
Now, my friend, right now, what you are trying to ask me, which party do I belong to? That is a matter that is still being canvassed in court. I have been a Jubilee member. I have never signed up for any other political party, as long as I know. But it was framed that way for very clear purposes, which then maybe some people are very happy about. But I remain very, very, strong, undeterred, committed to making my contribution in society, because I know Africa will not be changed by a single election, but by 1,000 changes in those small places that look insignificant, and by ordinary people who may never be celebrated. It's not just about the elections. Their only recognition will be the sparkles dotting all over this great continent that will eventually light up in unison in a moment of ubiquitous transformation. What I'm trying to say is this, that we ourselves, it's not just a question of being elected into office that transforms the country. I think I've done so many things. I will be launching my reports of Parliament possibly in July, 5 of them. I've told you right now, I have actually done quite a bit of the issues that I've said, including the sign language that you have here. I'm the one who pushed it through to be equivalent to English and Kiswahili, even in the Constitution. But that work must continue. The bills that I have in Parliament must continue. And whether they continue now or whichever time, for me, I'm extremely committed to making my contribution. Okay, all right, Senator. So we'll have you more on our shows now? Of course, yes. I'm in circulation now. All right, welcome back. And maybe let me just conclude by saying, I'm very encouraged by Mahatma Gandhi. If you allow me, if I can quote him. Quickly, please, because you're out of time. Never apologize for being correct or for being ahead of your time. If you are right and you know it, speak your mind. Even if you are a minority of one, the truth is still the truth. I believe that Isaac Mwaura knows what it is to be. I think I am ahead of my time, but I will speak the truth and stand for Kenyans. Senator, I don't know that you're a student of literature. I wish you had more time to get to break down what exactly you mean with those quotations in respect of what's going on in the country and, of course, the tribulations that you face politically. Thank you for your time, Senator Isaac Mwaura, back in circulation. We'll have him more in our shows. He has promised that, so he has no way of going against that. So up next is Willis Raburu with Matters Social. He'll be here with his panel, so stay tuned for that. My name is Sam Gituku. Bye for now. See you some other time.